The Lord of the Rings reveals what becomes of characters like Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee after the War of the Ring, but it leaves questions about what happens to Éowyn following the return of the king. J.R.R. Tolkien's books offer more insight into Éowyn's post-LOTR future than the theatrical cut of Peter Jackson's movies. However, neither the source material nor the adaptations dig too deeply into her future, as they focus primarily on the story's leads. This is a shame, as Éowyn remains one of Lord of the Rings' most interesting supporting players. It's also somewhat inevitable, as there's only so much time to dig into the aftermath of the Return of the King, even in the extended edition of the film. Fortunately, those looking for answers about Éowyn's life after the War of the Ring can find some in Tolkien's writings. And there will be opportunities for Warner Bros.' Lord of the Rings franchise to expand on this further, too, as an upcoming project will honor her movie character. Éowyn and Faramir get married and raise a child in Ithilien after Lord of the Rings. The Return of the King's extended edition alludes to this. Éowyn embarks on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment in The Lord of the Rings, and she gets a happy ending when all is said and done. Unfortunately, The Return of the King doesn't make this all that clear. The Lord of the Rings books establish her romantic relationship with Faramir, but it's only in Tolkien's appendices that we learn she eventually marries him. Jackson's movies don't really cover this at all, though they do allude to their future together through blossoming feelings between the two characters when they meet in The Return of the King. According to Tolkien, Éowyn and Faramir marry and settle down in Ithilien, where Éowyn becomes known as the Lady of Ithilien and the Lady of Rohan, via Tolkien Gateway. The couple also have a son named Elbrun after the War of the Ring, continuing both of their family lines. Unfortunately, not much more is revealed about Éowyn's life after the Return of the King. She becomes a hero in her own right during the Lord of the Rings final act, but she goes on to lead a pretty ordinary life after. And Tolkien doesn't get into when or how it ends. J.R.R. Tolkien doesn't reveal much about Éowyn's life or death after the War of the Ring. His appendices reveal she's alive in FA 11. Éowyn standing on the field after battle from the Lord of the Rings. Éowyn's life with Faramir brings both characters' journeys in the Lord of the Rings to a satisfying close, but Tolkien leaves what comes next open-ended. His writings don't suggest the characters do much else of great importance after the War of the Ring, though they obviously hold significant roles in Ithilien. But Éowyn's story ends with her starting a family as far as Tolkien is concerned, and to be fair, it's a pleasant enough conclusion for the character. Tolkien doesn't detail how or when Éowyn dies, likely because it isn't relevant to Middle-earth's broader history. He does note that she celebrates Merry becoming Master of Buckland by sending him gifts, meaning she's still alive in the Fourth Age, in FA 11, specifically. It's nice to know that Éowyn and Merry maintain a friendship beyond the events of the Lord of the Rings, though it would be interesting to learn more about Éowyn's life with Faramir. Perhaps 2024's new Lord of the Rings movie will deliver on that front. The War of the Rohirrim may shed light on Éowyn's post-Lord of the Rings fate. Miranda Otto's character narrates the upcoming film. Hero holding a sword in The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. While Tolkien's description of Éowyn's life after the War of the Ring leaves a lot to be desired, Warner Bros. Has the opportunity to dig deeper into the fate of Miranda Otto's heroine. Éowyn narrates the upcoming animated film, The War of the Rohirrim, and the Lord of the Rings movie's trailer confirms she's doing so after the Return of the King. We know this because she speaks about the War of the Ring in the past tense. And her character's return in the new Lord of the Rings movie means it can reveal what she's been doing since Sauron's defeat. The Rings of Power has seen success expanding on characters this way, and the War of the Rohirrim has Tolkien's appendices to guide its depiction of Éowyn. It's unlikely the film will reveal details about her later years or death, but it could fill in the blanks of Jackson's movies and flesh out her life with Faramir. We don't know who she's recounting Hero Hammerhand's story to in the film, but it's possible she's speaking to her son. If this is the case, there's room for the Lord of the Rings to expand on Tolkien's appendices.